Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, Judy LaDeur. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you as well.
We're a little early. We've still got about 4 minutes before the 1 o'clock hour, so I just wanted to say hi to you, of course, and hi to all of our listeners who are already on the line with us today. Our early birds, we love early birds. If
Yes.
you're on the line with us, please use that Q&A section, that little Q&A box on your control panel. And tell us where you're from, what your year-end numbers are. What else did we want to cover?
Any challenges? If there's any challenges they're having right now with recruiting or anything they'd love for us to address, or what they plan to do in 2020, based on their own recruiting plan.
Exactly. I can't believe it's 2020 already. That's just shocking.
I know.
This year to me has just gone by so fast.
It has. It really has. And 2020, that's one of those ones that takes a while to get used to writing, like on checks and everything. Because we're so used to putting that one there that we'll have to. But it'll be fun. 2020. I like that. The sound of 2020. I think it's gonna be a great year.
So those of you who are just coming on the line, use the Q&A section of your control panel to tell us where you're calling in from, and give us your year numbers. And if you have any specific challenges that you found, especially recently, that maybe we can address on today's call.
Yeah, so we have a lot of people registered for today's call, I understand.
Yes, we do. Well, I think it's a good topic. We're going to kind of wrap up a lot of what we've learned and what we've discovered and what we've shared in our webinars this past year, and what you've learned out in the field with clients this year. It's been an interesting roller coaster the last couple of years, so it'll be nice to kind of put a bow on this year and look ahead to what's going to be the most empowering and results producing strategies for 2020.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about that. So we've got 12:15, a couple more minutes. We'll officially ring it in.
Yeah, so are we recording yet, Julie?
We are.
Okay, great.
We are.
Perfect. I was just looking, I was going to test the slides, but we will believe that they will work out perfectly.
Oh, it's going to be good. We've got that positive energy going today. So.
That faith, test our faith here.
Exactly. So everybody that's on the line, grab a pen, some paper, take some notes. Judy, I think we are going to share this. We normally put this just in our members only section, but I think we are going to put this one on the blog as a kind of a end of the year gift. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
I think that'd be.
I know I had several people contact me to make sure that we were recording it today because they didn't want to miss it, but stuff happens.
I know one of your VIP coaching members, they are going to be in a recruiting interview this afternoon, and she was going to miss it. So
awesome.
Assured her that we were recording, so that's good.
I love that. Yeah, there's still a lot of recruiting going on out there right now. A lot of agent movement still.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see that, kind of continue for another week or two.
I think it's a great time of year, although I think a lot of brokers kind of put things into park just like agents do, right? But it's a good time of year because if agents have slowed down because of the holidays, it's a good time of year to bring them in and to talk about strategies for next year. And usually production is a little bit lower, right? So it's a good time.
It's just like, sometimes agents don't really, in December, they think no one wants to do anything and they kind of slack off on their prospecting. But those who are prospecting in December will pick up additional listings because, people are ready to get out of the market. I think the same thing's true with recruiting. Yeah. A lot of brokers are waiting till January 1st, January being recruiting season. But those who jump on the market now or jump on the bandwagon now and they recruit now, are going to definitely end up with, additional recruits to end of the year. So
exactly. All right. Well, it is 1 o'clock. Let's get rocking and rolling. Welcome everybody to today's webinar for the Profitable Recruiter. Our wonderful, fearless coach and leader, Judy LaDeur, is with us today. Hey, Judy, how are you?
Great. Thanks. How are you doing, Julie?
I'm good. Today we're going to talk about what did we learn in 2019 and what we should see in 2020. So I think you're gonna kind of put a bow on 2019 and give us some strategies and some ideas for moving forward. Is that right?
Exactly.
Excellent. For those of you on the call, there's a little Q&A section there on your control panel. Feel free to type us questions. We'll get to as many as we can. And on that note, Judy, take it away.
Awesome. So yes, our topic today, what did we learn in 2019 and what will we see in 2020? I think if we look back 1 year ago, all the discussion was on the disruptors because 2018 had been the year of the disruptors. And as we came into 2019, everyone was still nervous about it. We, a year ago, predicted that 2019 would not be seeing a lot of what were called the disruptors, as you might have recall. And 2018 did have a lot of change in it. But I think the change was coming so fast and so hard that obviously we needed a year to apply what we had learned. So 2019, we kind of predicted that to be the year of implementation, and that's kind of what it ended up being. So this was our topic last January, Spring Ahead, from disruption to implementation. And in talking to a lot of brokers, they really feel as though they've made a lot of headway in 2019. They kind of put the brakes on and said, okay, let's just stop, put some things in place, teach our agents how to use this stuff, address the fears that the agents had as far as all the changes and things of that nature. And as we end the year, I've been talking to some brokers recently who tell me that they're kind of chuckling now because, when they look back to a year ago, there was still a lot of fear and, what else are we going to see? But now they really feel like things have calmed down and everybody's just focused on listing and selling real estate, and basically everything's back on track again. And that's kind of what we saw. And I think, just to kind of make a little comment here on that, it's something I mentioned a year ago. I just want to mention again that, when we think about all the panic and all the disruption that was caused by the term disruptor, which was being used weekly, mostly from the Inman News, which is a great publication. They always tell us everything that's going on. But you have to remember that Inman News is a news publication. And so what they write a lot of times and a lot of their articles are designed to kind of get you thinking. And, they give their own opinions, which are simply opinions that they have as far as what's going to happen. And so I think they did a great job in 2018 as far as causing the industry to scramble around and kind of pull it together in 2019. But interestingly enough, if you think back over 2019, all of those disruptors that were predicted to take over the market in 2019, we didn't really hear anything about those disruptors for the most part in 2019. And a lot of that really is simply because the news that we were getting went in a different direction. Now, what did we see in 2019? We saw a lot of leadership changes. Now, why do we see a lot of leadership changes within a lot of the organizations, even a lot of the organizations which were quote unquote disruptors? I think that we saw that because there was so much change happening in the industry in 2018, and there were a lot of expectations coming into 2019 that that actually caused a lot of shift in leadership positions and people to rethink their strategies. And bottom line is, as we end 2019, what we really have right now is just a really great, strong market with agents who are better educated, companies who are better equipped, people that have more of that crystal focus. So I think that 2018 did its job. It shook everything up, and 2019 forced us to all, really evaluate where are we at, where do we want to go, what do we need to do, and that's what most of the brokers spent doing in 2019. The other thing that, and we're going to talk about this today, the other thing I think we really learned in 2019 is we didn't lose our agents. So a lot of the new companies, a lot of companies that were just talking about how technology was going to take all the agents away from the various companies. In fact, as many of you know, there's been a lot of studies that have been done in the past year with the consumer. And most studies show that 70% or more of consumers who are, especially the young ones that are just coming into the marketplace, they still say that they trust an agent more so than an app or iBuyer. And what they want is an agent who's knowledgeable about the market, knowledgeable about the process, and someone that can help see them through obviously a big leap in their life, which is buying their first home. So I think that that's been great to see those reports coming out to where the agent is still the most important aspect of the transaction.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Let's
all that
see.
doom and gloom and freak out for nothing.
No, that's what I said. They definitely shook up the industry, but yeah, sometimes shake up is good because again, it causes us to take a look at everything. Earlier this year, so these are just highlights of the webinars that we did this year. We talked about getting unstuck. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in our webinar today. But basically, if you are getting the same results, this year as you did last year or the year before, then you're stuck. And the way to get unstuck is to intentionally do something different and to draft a plan, which will cause you to do something different. We're going to show you how to a quick and easy way to draft a plan for your business before the end of our webinar today. But this is that time of year. So a year ago, we were, about February or March, it was like, get unstuck and start moving it forward. You have to have a plan. And so we will talk about that a little bit today. And one of my favorite webinars this past year was the one where we featured Jackie Root, who is just an amazing recruiter up in Michigan. For all of our members, you can go to our webinars on demand. I think this was February or March of last year. Yeah, so Jackie was at one of our events, and she recruits a lot of agents. But what I like about Jackie, what I loved about that webinar, and if you missed it, or you're just looking for a little adrenaline boost, little, shot in the arm to get you going, I would definitely go back and watch that webinar, because if you can't get a boost out of that, then, geez, I don't even know what would do it. But Jackie's got a little bit of an unconventional way of generating success. When I say, it's not the conventional method, a lot of her success comes from her attitude, her affirmations, her belief system. She is so excited about the company that she works with. It just resonates as she talks, and what she's saying is truly what she believes. And I found myself during the webinar and during my time with Jackie and our training, just thinking about the fact that if I were a recruit, I would know that what Jackie is telling me is the absolute truth, because her sincerity and her, she's so genuine about everything really comes through. It's not this, it's not fake. It's not just let me pitch my company and see who wants to join. So I recommended Jackie's webinar to a lot of recruiters and brokers this past year, who I think sometimes lack the passion and the excitement to really be their best. Okay? I mean, sometimes we just get tired, and maybe we've been doing this for a long time, and it's just like, it's another interview.
Right. Let the stress get to them instead of
right.
She was, her take on positivity was just extraordinary. Well, as so many of our guests are.
Exactly.
It really is a mindset, attitude equals altitude, right? So there's so much of that, and it's easy when you're wearing all the hats, especially for our broker friends who are the broker, they're the manager, they're the recruiter, they're they're their own accountant, they're a little bit of everything. That all those hats get heavy after a while.
Exactly. And sometimes, we both hear from brokers, like, I just can't put on another hat. I can't put any more on my plate. Well, attitude doesn't really require time. It just requires an attitude change, and it really requires getting really excited about what you have to offer. I was I'm doing a lot of online training right now. I was working with a group. When I asked them why someone should join their team, they were like, beats me. I don't know. And I could tell that they're just like,
You
I'm
don't
not
know
really
the answer to that.
yeah, well, I don't really know that we've got anything special. Well, so right there, that, identified the biggest challenge to their recruiting program and their results is that the people in charge of bringing others on board really are not passionate about what they offer, what the company is doing, the results that it's had. It has to start there. So that's why I was glad that we had that interview with Jackie, had it early on in the year. I would highly recommend that you go back and listen to it again if you just need to get a little passion into your presentation. And but I think one of the reasons that Jackie's excited about it is that she's also brought a lot of agents on board and she's watched their growth. And when you see that, as a recruiter and as a broker, we're changing lives. Very powerful thing, to invite people into your organization to be able to, dramatically increase their income, change their lifestyle. And it all starts with you.
Yeah.
So when you see that, it should excite you. And if it doesn't, then you perhaps, 2020, one of the things that you need to do different in 2020 is find a way to get re-excited about what you're offering and what you're doing.
So we're going to talk about some of that today, aren't we?
We will. And then, one of the things that we talked about, getting towards April, or May, was just kind of saying, look, you know what, we're still in recruiting season. What are you not doing that's costing you business? And there were, the number one thing we talked about was that it was video. Okay, so early in the year, we were still talking about video because we saw it as a trend that was really, really allowing brokers to develop that relationship with the agents. They want faster, get those agents in quicker. The results are there by using video. So, we were encouraging brokers, use video, make it personal. If it's just business, you're never going to have as many results in this business, which is that, this is an emotionally based industry. Most agents are emotional decision makers. It has to be personal. They have to like you, have to like your organization. They have to like your agents. And so, that's easy stuff. It's just relationship stuff and follow up. We had some great success stories this year. We had a recruiter up in Ontario, a new recruiter. She started in January, and she had a team that she was going to be meeting with in May, and they put her off and put her off. And gosh, I think they probably canceled and rescheduled a dozen times with her before they actually met with her in September. But by October, she had a team of over 20 agents signed up and on board.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the follow-up is something that we sometimes see brokers charging full steam ahead. They've got this recruit that they want to bring on board. They conduct the interview. They do their best to get them signed up. They don't get them signed up. And then they sometimes have a tendency to just move on to the next one without implementing a strategic follow-up plan with that agent. Because a lot of agents, it's going to take 6 to 12 months of follow-up to bring them onto your team. Or it could be years, who knows, but typically they all move eventually. So you have to stay positioned in a way that's comfortable but effective. And one of my favorite quotes about follow-up is by Joyce Meyer. And her quote is, "Patience is not the ability to wait, but how you act while you're waiting." And I just think that's really powerful. Yeah, because it says, look, you're not just sitting there tapping your toes and thinking, when are they going to join? But, how you act while you're waiting. Does that recruit feel comfortable with you being in touch with them, even though they're not on your team yet? It shouldn't feel like pressure. It should just feel like you're patiently waiting for them. And so I would encourage all of you right now, as you reflect back on 2019, ask yourself the same question. What are you not doing that might be costing you business? Is it your marketing? Have you stopped marketing? Have you still not started doing your video? Have you slacked off on the calls because it's December and everyone's saying, call me in January? When they say, look, call me in January, I want you to just come back with a statement. I think we covered this later on too, but I'll mention it here. It's just say, so you know what? That's great. I'd love to meet with you in January. Let's set a date and time now. So I realize it's a few weeks away and things might happen between now and then, but let's just go and put it on a calendar. This is the only time of year where I give brokers and recruiters permission to book a month out. Because that's the number one objection you hear right now. And if you absolutely cannot get them to meet with you in December, then just go ahead and book it for January. I mean, what's the worst that'll happen? Maybe you start January with 20 interviews on the books, 10 of them canceled, but you still start the year with 10 interviews already set. So
great way to start the year, right?
Yeah, right. Nothing bad can happen from that. So if don't just let them push you off by saying call me in January. Come back, set that appointment for January.
I love it.
Now, as we, I put this one in here too. We're not going to go through all 12 topics we had last year, but I think this was our June topic where we said put your summer retention plans in place. And why do we talk about that in June? It's because September and January are both huge recruiting periods in our industry. Yeah. And if your agents aren't securely in your court, if you're not doing things to show your agents that you care about them and that they're really important to your business, then someone else might grab their attention when recruiting season comes. And so I always say, look, if you wait till September and then you start telling me you appreciate them, then it's possibly too late. But if you spend June, July, August really focused in on retention, then those agents know that you appreciate them and that you're doing everything that you can, for their business by the time recruiting season starts. It's kind of the same thing right now. The holidays are a great time to, we've got Thanksgiving, we've got all of the December holidays. It's a great time to let agents know how much you appreciate them, to do things, to host parties, to give them a little special something at the end of the year. Why? Retention's equally important now because recruiting season is starting soon.
Yeah, exactly.
And officially it starts in January, but we still see a lot of agents moving right now. And I wanted to throw this one in here. As I mentioned before, earlier in the year, we said, look, you need to be doing video. You have to use video. You can't wait till you've lost the 10 pounds. You can't wait till you get it perfect. Just, that's the number one reason for not doing video, by the way, is I need to lose 10 more pounds. And, but, we had Michael Krissa, who is just genius when it comes to making it easy to use video. I think that one is up on our site. If not, it'll be soon. We just had Michael a couple of weeks ago. And he went through and showed everybody on the call, how do you use video? What's important when you're using video? What does the consumer remember when you're using video? So if you haven't watched that one, it's another great one. If you missed it, to go back and watch, or if you saw it, but at the time you're like, yeah, I'm going to start doing that video now. And then, here we are a few weeks later, it still isn't in place. Maybe you need to watch it again, have the right tools, have the right supplies, and build it into your 2020
And it's a really, really good time of year. I mean, things are a little slower and that kind of thing, to just, make it a commitment to pick and choose, maybe 2 or 3 of those videos a week, just to kind of, it's going to help your mojo. It's going to, there's an idea, and just to create some of that spark and that passion and that, that relearning to love what we do, especially some of your colleagues that are out there just crushing it this year. It's great to just go in and revisit and kind of tap into some of that energy. So this is a great time of year to watch those videos on demand.
Exactly. And so those were some of the highlights of 2019 that I think were really great reminders for brokers. And again, they can always go to our webinars on demand on our site to re-watch any of them that they feel would be important for implementing their plan for 2020. And so, last year we gave some predictions for 2019. A lot of them came true. I forget some of them, but here's what experts are predicting for 2020, is that contrary to what they were saying a couple of years ago. So 2 years ago, remember, 70% of all the industry experts said 2020 is the year of the crash. By the halfway through 2019, so 18 months later, the industry experts now changed it to 2020 is going to be another strong year in real estate. And again, those predictions are for the States. Canada's market is still strong. They seem to always have a strong market. And we need to follow what Canada's doing because they don't seem to have the ups and downs that we do. But a strong market is good news for everybody. It creates more income for brokers, which allows them to implement, more resources and more systems. So one of the things that we've been seeing this year, and I think we're going to see this a lot more in 2020, is that as companies, again, that the market has continued to stay strong and the revenue is up, they are bringing in-house tech support into their organizations, especially the multi-office firms. They're using, they have a tech person that just works for their organization, tech person that is doing the training and making sure that all this technology has been implemented, agents know how to use it. We have a broker here locally that their in-house tech person is just amazing, holds continuous classes, helps the agents create their own commercials, doing a lot of video with the agents, doing a lot of video with the broker for recruiting purposes. This is definitely an investment that you will see the return on that investment, and definitely a position that brokers who have it tell us is definitely paying for itself. The same is true for in-house marketing support. You're going to see some information that we've shown you in the past, a little bit later in our webinar today, but marketing is, again, a position that will always pay for itself as long as you have the right person. In-house marketing means that our agents are going to do more marketing. When they do more marketing, they sell more real estate. And in selling more real estate, obviously, it generates more revenue. And so we're seeing a lot of our larger firms, a lot of our multi-office firms with that in-house marketing support. And, even some of our, single firms, but, with 50, 60, 70 people, they might only have one office. They have a lot of agents. And I think these are key elements right here to retaining your agents as well as recruiting agents. The other thing that I see for 2020, and this has really been ramping up as we end 2019, is more and more teams, and the teams are getting larger. Because this is a kind of a controversial thing, Julie, because a lot of brokers don't like teams that well. And when I say they don't like them, I think it's just because there's definitely some frustration that can be connected to teams. You have to set them up properly. You have to, it's a business within your business. You lose a little control over the people that they're recruiting onto their teams. And so there's a lot of things that you can do as a broker, which is to train your team leaders to do a better job in recruiting agents onto their team, give them input and guidance with regard to their contracts with their team members and their policies as far as running a team. Teams are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. And in fact, like I said, we have a lot of brokerages that have actually switched from running a brokerage to basically running a team under the brokerage name. So this means everybody's working for the broker. They're all in a split. The broker is providing the marketing support. The broker's providing the resources, the leads. They're generating. Basically, agents are becoming order takers in these companies. And so basically, it's just it looks like a team, even though it's an office. So I see that definitely continuing. So I'm sorry, Julie, did you want to add something there?
No, I just find it fascinating.
Yeah, great. Now, along with this, one of the things that we're seeing as we move into 2020 lots and lots of mergers and acquisitions. There are a lot of reasons for that, but primarily, whenever we have a really strong market for a number of years, as we have had, a lot of franchises get sold, a lot of top agents break off and they open up their own company. Everybody wants to have their own little real estate firm. But as we examine a lot of the marketplaces right now, they're almost oversaturated. Recently, one of my brokers that I'm coaching, did the research for marketplace. I think there were like 25 offices within her community of the same brand. And when there's that many offices in a marketplace, it's hard for everyone to succeed. And so what we find is that brokers just get frustrated and they can't grow. They have to list and sell to keep the doors open and keep the income flowing, and it's just not what they envisioned it was going to be. Right now I'm coaching several brokers who have several other brokers in the marketplaces who have approached them to say, like, I'm done. If you want the office, it's yours. Now, they always share that with me because I'm their coach. So it's like, is that a good opportunity? Well, every strong firm, as it has been in the past, but I really see this big time in 2020 for a lot of reasons. Every strong firm is going to have a chance to expand and gain market share by acquiring the offices that are not growing. But a word of caution, you can't expand without a plan in place to grow those offices. So for example, if you currently have, let's say, 10 offices, and maybe out of your 10, 5 of them are growing, 5 are recruiting, 5 are not, which kind of means 5 of your offices are supporting your other 5, right? Then another company says to you, listen, I got 3 offices, you can have my 3 and for practically nothing. Well, if those offices aren't growing, chances are the right person isn't in place in that office currently, which means you have to put someone in place. So if you don't have somebody that you can put in place in each of those offices that you're acquiring to grow them, you probably shouldn't acquire them. So you don't acquire based on the fact that it's not going to cost you any money. A lot of companies are just looking to get out from under their obligation to keep that office open. And a lot of those broker owners will work for you as a sales agent because that's what they like doing. Why would you acquire an office even if it's free, unless you can turn that into a very profitable office. And so you start at home. You have to first make sure that all of your offices are growing, all of your offices are profitable, that you've got the right leadership team in place in each of your offices for them to grow. And if you don't, then you might want to replace your existing leadership first, if needed, or go with plan B. Plan B is always hire a recruiter if your managers are not going to recruit. And if you can get the right recruiter, they're going to grow as well. But if you aren't growing currently, then acquiring other offices and having a bigger company to grow is probably not what I would suggest as the best plan of action. The other reason that there's a lot of merger and acquisition opportunities, and there will continue to be, is brokers are just getting tired. Most of our brokers, many of our brokers around the country are, they're getting tired. They're in their 70s, 80s. They've just really, they're just, like I said, it's hard to, if they're having a hard time growing their operation, they're, fighting fiercely daily to keep the agents they've got from leaving. A lot of our brokers tell us that I'm just done. If anyone wants the office, they can have it, which is sad because, you go into business so that you can build it and have a profitable business that you can sell. And agents are retiring. That's the other reason. I have a company that recently told me that they know of probably 20 or 30 of their agents which have already told them they're retiring next year. And the scary thing about that is these are your best agents. These are agents with large databases. And if they just suddenly say, I'm done, and you don't have a plan in place to transfer that market share, that client database to existing agents in the organization, you will lose hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, okay, in market share.
Exactly.
So that's something that we have a plan for that. We have a program for that. We've actually gone through that plan of implementing a program for your agents to turn their business over to other agents here on one of our webinars. I don't know if it's still on our webinars on demand, but
It is.
Is it good? Great.
And it's powerful because it's such a problem for so many brokers and agents.
Right.
They don't have an exit plan. Brokers don't have an exit plan. Agents don't have an exit plan, and I mean, for most of our listeners, even, I'm sure it's a case of I've been in this business 20, 30, 40, sometimes more years into walking without anything to show for it. That's disheartening. So you definitely need to.
It really is. So make sure as you go into 2020, maybe that's a good topic for us to cover again in 2020, Julie, but you need a plan in place for your agents to transition their business to your existing agents. Don't let them go to a company, a cheap company out there that just charges them a really low fee and lets them pretty much, do a deal or two a year. They'll make more money transitioning their business to an agent within your firm and getting paid on that business. That is definitely a plan that you need to have in place. And again, we're going to see the largest number of acquisitions and mergers and the largest number of offices shutting down and the largest number of agents exiting the industry when and if what happens. What happens when there's something that happens in our marketplace that causes those things to happen instantly? The dreaded market slowdown.
Oh.
If you remember back to 2006, it was like they flipped a switch. One day we had a market, the next day we didn't.
Right.
It's not always slow. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's fast. Sometimes it's huge. Sometimes it's, manageable. But every time that there is a market slowdown or shutdown, and I've seen it several times in my career, you'll see 30, 40, 50, 60% of agents getting out of the business like within 6 months. You'll see offices going out of business. You'll see people frantically trying to get rid of their operations. And so you can't wait until the slowdown. I mean, right now they're saying 2020 will be a strong year all year long, and we hope that it will be. But, what if the slowdown is at the end of 2020? You absolutely have to make sure you get that in place before that slowdown does occur.
Absolutely.
We're going to show you a few slides that we showed you last year, but we have a different purpose. Well, it's the same purpose. I guess it is a reminder. And the next few slides are basically things that you can do as a brokerage in 2020 to increase the production of your existing agents, okay? I always love to look at the different studies that are done by NAR. This one was done by Harvard Business Study, where it just looked at salespeople and referrals in general. And just in 2018, it showed that 84% of buyers start their buying process on a referral. 9 out of 10 buying decisions by buyers are made with peer recommendations. 92% of buyers trust referrals from people they know, and quite honestly, if we take a look at if 92% of buyers trust referrals from people that they know, I'll bet it's 99% of buyers trust any sort of recommendation. Because look at Amazon. It's a great example. Today you can buy anything on Amazon. Do you know why people like to buy on Amazon? They like to buy on Amazon because they can look at the little stars next to that product and see how many people like it. And then they can look to see what do people say about this. Our buying decisions more than ever are affected by ratings. And as a real estate industry, we officially became a ratings industry in 2018, which is really great news for agents, which means that the only thing that you have to do is make sure that everyone that you know knows that you do a great job and that you've got some great ratings, you've got some great recommendations, but you have to get those recommendations. And so we are basically a rating society, and we are a society to where if someone says this agent will do a good job for you, they did a great job for me, the job is like 98% done. When you walk in the door, you've already been recommended and you already have a great rating. So in 2019, my question, because we talked about this early in the year, what did you do in 2019 to keep your agents in front of their clients? Because the two simplest things that you could do, which we offer as part of your membership, is either one, take your profitable recruiter newsletters each week. And thank you, by the way. Julie and I rarely go more than a week without hearing from one of our members that just says, I have to share this with you. I have to share this with you. I have to show you what someone said. I mean, it's really fun, isn't it, Julie, when people want to just send us emails and literally send us a whole email that we send out to you to copy and paste to send on to recruits, and they're sending it back with the comments from the recruits that they're getting.
I just got one Monday about how it hit home, for that agent, and it was the spark that made the phone call happen, and it's really just being in front, staying top of mind. It's really, quite frankly, what a lot of you are teaching your agents in your offices. You've got to stay top of mind. You've got to stay in touch, but not in their face, kind of thing. And that's exactly what we do.
Exactly. And so, when we write these weekly emails, they're written in what we call a safe contact mode, meaning everyone can relate to the content. Everyone can, like I said, they all say the same thing. Geez, it really hit home this week, or I grabbed my attention, and I just want to say thanks, or sure, let's get together, right? And so, they're motivational, they're inspirational, they're things of that nature. But we also have so as a broker, let me just review with you. When you send it to your agency each week and you send it to your recruits each week, you should remind your agents and your recruits, the only thing they have to do is copy and paste the content and send it to all of their clients so that they can stay in front of their clients. So we write the content specifically to be used by your agents and your recruits, and for your family members to pass on to people that they know. We also write one called the Profitable Sales Agent. It's a weekly newsletter as well. It's like $20 a month or something. It's not very much, but you can add that onto your subscription if you want one that's more specific to homeowners, and utilize that as well. But as a broker, this membership platform provides you with two pieces of information that can be sent out to your agents and your recruits to stay in front of their clients. So if you aren't doing that right now, this is just one more reminder to make that change in 2020. We do know that agents are not staying connected with their clients, and all of you have seen the 2017 NAR survey, which stated that only 12% of consumers actually used an agent that they'd used before to buy or sell a home, even though 83 to 88% of all buyers and sellers were happy with their agents and would have used them. But again, they couldn't remember who they were. So as amazing as that sounds to us, I ask consumers all the time who their agent is, and they'll tell me, oh, they were great. What was their name? That just tells me the agent's not staying in contact with them. So the number one, and for you, the broker, why is this important? Because the number one reason agents leave and look for another firm is they're not making enough money. So for you, this is an easy solution. You've got a tool to make this happen, and one, so not only are they not staying in front of their database with something, that same study with regard to referrals shows that 92% of people trust referrals from people that they know, and after a positive experience, 83% of customers said they'd be happy to give a referral, but salespeople just aren't asking. Okay. Of all the customers surveyed, 29% of the customers gave a referral because the others were not asked. So right now, the statistics that we see out there is that 47% of top agents ask for referrals consistently. And again, that's only half, but only 1/4 of non-top producers ask for that referral consistently. So again, what's the difference between a non-performing agent and a top-performing agent? Right here is a big part of that. You as the broker need to keep this information in front of them and help them understand why it is so important for them ask for those referrals. And the last thing, which is something that is in your control as well, is that we all know happy agents are typically productive agents. So when they're productive, they're usually pretty happy. Market research shows that agents who will stay positioned all year long with their database based on the way that consumers now make their decisions, okay? So it's ratings and referrals are going to leave their competition in the dust. The number one reason for agents to stay connected is just that 10% of the people in their database should do business with them or refer business to them every year if they stay connected, follow up, and ask for referrals. So think about that. A 300-person database should be generating 30 transactions a year for an agent. If they stay positioned in front of them at all time, they're marketing their results to them, they're talking to them, they're connecting with them, they're asking for those referrals, they're utilizing video on their websites, putting their testimonials from the clients on their website. If the agents just do those basic things, for most agents, they would double or triple their business. It's good for you and good for them. So here's your part as you go into 2020. What are you going to do differently in 2020 to have different results? And that's a question that you should always ask yourself at the beginning of every year. It's like, if you do the same thing in 2019 that or 2020 that you did in 2019, you're likely to have the same results. Now, if you had your best year ever and everything is going perfectly in your organization, well then, you know what? Maybe you just want to keep doing that, okay? Because that's okay, because the same results will be great, okay? But most of the people that reach out to us are not having optimum results, and they are looking to increase the results for 2020. So you have to do something different. Meaning this, maybe you utilize video in 2020. Maybe you bring in an in-house tech person, in-house marketing person, or both. Maybe you do update your offices. Maybe you look at a recruiter to supplement the recruiting within your organization. Maybe you'd have to turn over a few of the members of your leadership team. I mean, they're great people, but a lot of if they're not growing the office and the office is losing market share or losing money, okay, then that's something internally that as the broker owner, it's up to you to fix. And that's hard sometimes, right? So there's a lot of ways to fix profitability within one of your offices. You can recruit the business in, or you can work with the agents within that office to increase their business. And if all the agents in office have more business in 2020, maybe that's the key to making it profitable. But your job is to look at your organization today to decide what are you going to do differently in 2020 if you want a different outcome at the end of 2020. How many more recruits will you sign up in 2020? And just like with agents, you do the math backwards. Yep. How many interviews is that going to require? So if you need 20 more recruits in 2020, and it takes 3 interviews typically for you to sign someone up, you need 60 interviews over 12 months. And so they don't just magically show up at your front door.
Darn it.
Darn it. We wish they would. But you have to generate 60 interviews. So then how do you generate 60 interviews? Do you do it by phone calls? Do you do it by text? Do you do it social media? Do you do it through going to schools and prospecting from schools? Do you go to open houses? What are you going to do? Because if it takes an average of, let's just say the highest number of contacts that it typically takes to generate an interview is 10. So if you need 60 more interviews, then you need 600 contacts. It took 10 to get one. So how do you connect with 600 more people in 2020? Again, it's not going to happen on its own because you don't have a lot of time in your day. So until, it's not like you have 2 extra hours every day to just suddenly go, hey, I'll just use these 2 hours. Most of you are pretty busy. So you have to look at what are you doing throughout the course of your day? How do you plug these activities in? And sometimes, and brokers tell us all the time, I used to do this. I recruited 10 agents that year just doing this thing. So then I ask, are you still doing it? No. Why not? I don't know.
I don't know.
I just quit doing it. Well, you know what? If you've done something in the past that really worked well, gosh, maybe it's time to pull it out, dust it off, and try it again. Maybe you try it with a little twist. Maybe, times change. Maybe you do it differently, but you still do it. And you will have to market the tools that you provide, your systems and your results, to the agents that you're looking to bring on board. That's what they want to know is, how do you help me do business easier, more effectively? And so your marketing can be via email, texting, video, hard copy, postcards, letters. There's a lot of ways to get your message out. They all work if you do them.
Well, I think some of it starts with knowing what you have to offer too. Like you said when we even got started today, was you talk to brokers and say, well, what are you doing, or what is
Yeah.
what are the things about
Someone
your office that are going to make people want to come to you? And if you can't answer that as a broker, then that's step one, right? So
Exactly. And think about it, like when you think about your website, there's another thing to look at as you go into 2020. Your websites, a lot of them look really dated. I gotta tell you, because I look at websites all the time. Part of what I do as a coach is when someone's got a recruit coming in, we look at the website for that recruit and that company, and I am just amazed at how dated so many of them are, right? Now think about it. If we're a rating society, and every consumer, when they're going to list their home, they're going to sell their house, or again, when agents are looking to maybe associate with your firm, they're looking at your websites.
yeah.
The consumer's going to your websites. The recruits are going to your websites. What should your website have on it for 2020? It has to have a lot of videos, a lot of testimonials, ratings, and here's how we're going to get the job done. So if you have not made an investment into your website, whether for you it's your company site, I would highly recommend that you take a look at it. Maybe have someone else look at it with an objective viewpoint to say, is this impressive? Would you feel compelled to reach out to us and want to work with a firm based on what our website looks like? If not, then it needs to change.
We do have a question on that. What are some quick things you can do to improve a website, your recruiting website?
The websites that I'm seeing that I'm most impressed with have a lot of videos on them. Just right from the very first opening page and all the way through, it's a message maybe from the owner that says, thank you for considering our firm to represent you in the purchase or the sale of a home. We have some of the very best agents in the marketplace who are completely committed to your results. And I'm really proud that we've got some great reasons. They could talk about that our team is this, and this, or our agents are the most productive in the marketplace. Those are facts that we can back up, and we do get the job done more often. There's a company that I worked with that got an award for I think for the world, certainly for the country, but they got an award for the highest net gain within their organization of agents. And really what that means is that out of all the companies in the country, more agents chose to work for their firm. And so there's different things that you can take a look at your results and put a message up there that says, so thank you for looking at our firm. If they're on the recruiting landing page, or you've got your own recruiting site, you should have agents. We have one of our brokers who's one of our members. I think she's actually not going to be on the call today. She asked us to make sure that we upload the video for her. She just brought someone in a few weeks ago, and they did a beautiful job of videotaping, I think 10 or 15 of her agents on what it's like to work within the organization, what's different about the organization, why agents should join, what they do differently as agents, and did a beautiful job so that she would have that in place for her 2020 plan of action.
Brilliant.
So, videos, results, but people
Training
want to see.
opportunities, your calendar, that kind of thing, so people can see what you're offering.
Sure.
And look at your competitors. I mean, that's a great tip there. If you've got some competitors that are kind of knocking your socks off, look at what their sites, what they have on their sites. Look what is setting them apart in your market. That's a good indicator as
Sure.
what it's a good, way for you to say, okay, well, what is mine missing based on, the results that they're getting.
Right. One of our clients, one of their managers was chosen as Manager of the Year. Okay. That's a great award. So for a broker owner to talk about, here's a great reason to join our team. I mean, this is a person who was awarded Manager of the Year. So you have to kind of be able to toot your own horn a little bit and say, look, we're a great firm. We do a great job. Love to. Again, there's two aspects to your website. One is what does the consumer see when they come there? We've supported your agent's ability to get business, but there has to be a recruiting landing page or a recruiting site. So a lot of our brokers have sites. What they see, they want to see faces. See, that's the society that we're in today.
Mm-hmm.
I always laugh about ratings sometimes. Okay, it's probably just my age. My children were the ones that taught me years ago, you never go to a restaurant without checking the ratings. You never buy anything without checking the ratings. Like the younger generation, they're so tuned into that they don't make a decision without checking the ratings. Here's what I find humorous. They don't know any of those people. That if someone says, this is a great place to work, then they'll look, it must be.
Right.
Whether it's true or not, this is a great place to eat. Like, you gotta try this. I mean, so that's how most of the people are making their decisions today. They want to hear someone say, this is what it looks like. They want to see those testimonials. They want to see those ratings. They want to see how people feel, which is why so many of our companies are doing surveys internally within their organizations and posting those survey results as far, for the consumer as well as for the recruits. And so just make it, when someone lands on your page, they should be instantly impressed. Another thing is I've been encouraging all of my clients to do is to make sure that you have, and we did it, we talked about this, I think we showed some samples earlier, Julie, on lifestyle photos.
Mm-hmm.
So lifestyle photos are the new way of the new type of photo for business in 2020. It's a very relaxed photo. If you Google lifestyle photos, you'll see them. And that might show you sitting at your desk. You might be leaning up against a car, laughing. It's called This Is Who I Really Am as a Person. And I think lifestyle photos for the broker as well as the leadership team is really important. And I think that we should encourage our agents to have lifestyle photos for them to use in their marketing too, because the consumer wants to know that they're working with a real person who's going to listen and have their best.
You have a video on demand, I believe, where you talked about putting your book together, putting your marketing book as a recruiter together, and
yes,
using those. So that'll be in your webinars on demand tab as well.
Right. So brokers, what Julie's referring to there is we talked about, agents have a pre-list kit that they send out to sellers in advance. In fact, the CRS Council did I think it was CRS or WCR, one of the two, did a study of top producing agents, and they said the number one thing that they do to maintain their position as a top producing agent is a pre-list kit. And this was just a couple of years ago. Now, I was kind of surprised at first, but then I realized that with technology, pre-list kits look different today. It's a link. It could be a book, but because today's society is making their decisions in advance based on recommendations, you have all those recommendations and you can put that information in front of a seller before the agent gets there. That seller will decide prior to the agent showing up, this is the agent we want to work with. And the same is true for you as a broker. If you can place information, instead of sending them home with stuff, because most brokers say, oh, I have this little brochure I send home with them, put the information in front of them in advance. And, with a note that just says, take a look at who we are prior to our meeting and come up with the top 2 or 3 things that are important to you as an agent that you'd like to talk about based on some of the things that you see that we're doing here in our brochure. So do it in advance. And I think that's pretty much it for today, other than we had one great question. I don't know if we had any more questions come in, Julie, but bottom line is as we approach the end of the year, it's time for New Year. And it's up to you to really decide what's 2020 going to look like, you and your organization. But it takes a plan.
Questions, right?
Yeah, it requires a plan.
And know that we're here. We've got the resources and the tools and the technology to help you grow your business with more ease and less stress and even more humor. I know a lot of our brokers call us and email us that it's just, it's made recruiting more fun for them.
Right.
One, because they don't have to struggle to figure out what to do every week. We kind of give them that heads up. We show them, give them a path. We give them the tools. We give them everything they need to succeed and to create that top of mind awareness. There's so much training in the back end of this system. So that's very powerful. Doug wants to know if having a large holiday party. Any recommendations on how to best leverage that for recruiting? It's a great way to wrap up our webinar.
Yeah, so
thanks, Doug.
Holiday parties are a great way to, again, just expose potential recruits to your team members and yourself. I have a broker that I was just talking to last week, and they typically do more of a formal holiday party, but they changed it up this year, and she's making it very personal, kind of like inviting, them into her home, but it's the clubhouse where she lives, and it's a really very warm setting, and everything about it's just going to be, join me in my home for the holidays. And I think I've always been a big fan, if you can do it, you can't always do it, of having something in your home, whether it's an open house or a holiday party in your home, because I think that for the majority of our agents, when you invite them into your home, you invite them into your heart. There's just something special about that. So I always recommend that if you can do it. If you've got a really large organization and you can't do that, then I think this is just the focus should be, at the end of the year, what's the most effective way for me to show my appreciation to our team and to the people that work really hard all year long to make you, who you are as a company in the marketplace. So in
terms of recruiting, that's a great opportunity for you to invite the
sure
that have co-broked with your agents, invite them to the party as well as a thank you for their hard work and their professionalism over the year. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, and you just tell them, like, love Merry Christmas. Say, well,
the party. All right,
well, even though, they might, sure, the agents might say, well, look, I'm not looking to make a move right now. Just say, it doesn't really matter, because someday you will be looking to make a move. And the only way that you'll know if we're the type of organization that you'd like to work with, or if we have the type of people that you'd like to work with, is you got to get to know us. So
exactly.
Yeah, come to our party. Bring a spouse, a guest, a friend, whatever. We don't care. We're just all having fun, and so come join us. And so yes, absolutely. I always recommend everyone invite all the agents in their pipeline for sure. That means the people that you're talking to about joining right now or sometime in the next couple of months. And then maybe take your top 10 agents that you'd like to have at some point in the future who will not commit to meet with you right now because they're perfectly happy where they're at, and invite them to just come by and say hi to all your agents, especially the co-ops, because they already work with some of your agents.
Perfect. I think that's a perfect idea. Mike says, thanks so much, Judy. He couldn't have built his business without you.
Oh, thank you so much, Mike. How sweet.
All right, everybody, that's a wrap on today's webinar. Thanks to everybody who joined us today. We are going to have a recording of this up in the on demand in the Webinars on Demand tab in your platform. If you have any questions for us, give us a holler. And until we talk again, happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you. Happy holidays to all.
Alrighty, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.